Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's reading is a collective reading. I'm wanting to tap into the energy of the collective, given everything that's been going on the world stage at the moment, and tied in with the readings that I've done previously on the Pluto and Aquarius transit. So to start with, first, I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I receive messages prior to the reading through music, through songs, through downloads, all little pieces of a puzzle that I'm guided to draw together and pull cards on. Now, the cards that I use on my channel are all my own designs. I'm an illustrator as well. So I have combined my intuitive skills and my illustrative skills. And if you are called to any of those decks, the links to them can be found in the description box. So first of all, I will start to pull through the messages that I have been receiving. And once I've given those to you, if this reading resonates with you, you can follow me into the tarot reading component of the reading. So the first message that I was hearing was spiritual earthquake. Currently, as a collective, we are going through a spiritual earthquake. Now, when you think about an earthquake, it is a separation. When there's two divides. When I talk about the Pluto and Aquarius transit, Pluto in Aquarius is a 20-year transit. So it started this year, January 20 of 2024, and it will go all the way through to 2044. In a Pluto and Aquarius transit, if we look back in history, we see major revolutionary change. So in the last Pluto and Aquarius transit, which is back 1777 to 1798, we saw the French Revolution and the American Revolution. Prior to that, in the mid-1500s, we saw a revolution in England because Henry VIII changed the foundations of the country from Catholic to Church of England, and all of the uprisings that happened there. If we go back even further, we look at William Wallace. If you think of the Braveheart movie, the revolution between the Scots and the English, all of these things happen in these Pluto and Aquarius transits. And one is happening right now. I got the song Radioactive. Now that's Imagine Dragons. And I watched the video clip of that song. The whole song centers around a fight between a champion and a challenger. The people on the outside of the ring all watching, but the champion and the challenger are puppets. And what happens is, and when I say puppets, I mean they are literally stuffed animals. What happens is, this little tiny pink bear comes to challenge the champ and wins the battle with supernatural powers. This little pink bear, who is the underdog, who is underestimated. I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't go back to sleep. And then when I got up this morning, I ended up just going back and lying down for a little bit. But when I woke up, I'd had this dream about a scarab beetle. Now, scarab beetles, the definition or the spiritual meaning of a scarab beetle is spiritual awakening. Within that dream was also this massive trail of ants. Ants signify many things, but for me in that dream, it was the symbolism of following the crowd and feeling overwhelmed and insignificant in a larger group. In my shuffling, a couple of cards wanted to come out. I had the Hierophant, which is institutions, ways of thinking, religions, things that are solid, things that are difficult to come up against. So the Hierophant, the sun, which is illumination, and the Tower are breaking down of maybe previous beliefs. I got the song, and I do a random shuffle on a Gregorian chants playlist to clear the energy before the reading. So I can't remember the name, something Immaculata. Basically, it's a song about a divine message being given to Mary. Now we are in May, which is the month of Mary, celebrated in the Catholic Church. But the Hierophant is also the number 5 card, which is Taurus. Taurus is the month of May. So some sort of messaging coming through. I also got, which I got in a reading yesterday, Diore Leones. Now all these songs are in Latin, so you'll have to excuse my pronunciation. Diore Leones is deliver out of the lion's mouth or destroy your ego. I heard the words underestimated, and at the end of that song, Radioactive, this little bear who was underestimated, who ended up having this massive power, was able to unlock a prison cell and set a group of people free. The final thing that I was researching was the different generations that we are dealing with. Now, I did do a reading a couple of months ago about what is the Pluto and Aquarius transit bringing for you? What are your challenges? And in this particular transit, if you think about revolution and that song Revolution, the Beatles song, or is it a John Lennon song? It's a Beatles song, I think, is coming to mind. If you think about revolution, American Revolution, French Revolution, Braveheart, what happened in England in the 1500s, it was changes to the establishment, changes to the established beliefs. So that reading, I think I did 3 different piles, was looking at different changes to religious beliefs, in terms of the foundations of what you are brought, the core values that you are brought up with, the core beliefs that you are brought up with. And I'm really feeling an influence in the energy from what is currently happening in the Middle East and how it's playing out in America. Specifically at the moment, because you have large swathes of the younger Jewish population in America. And I'm hearing a siren. Turning their backs on the traditional beliefs, not turning their backs on their religion, but turning their backs on the traditional beliefs, the foundations of perhaps their parents, their grandparents. I think this month is also a month of remembrance for people from the Holocaust. So in the beginning, I said spiritual earthquake, a change between the older generation and the newer generation that is forming cracks. And I went researching the different generations and what they symbolize, because I wanted to get some context. And I think it's really insightful. So Generation Z, which is essentially anybody from the age of 13, 14 to 29. If you think of all of the people, majority of people in any of the protests around the world, the majority obviously of people on the encampments at universities, that's that swathe of people. They are digitally native, meaning that they grew up in a digital age. That's how they communicate. They live in a digital first world. They search for the truth in personal and communal form. And they are very, very comfortable in cross-referencing information across multiple platforms, being online or physical. They feel comfortable with not having only one way to be. They have a search for authenticity, which generates a greater freedom of expression and a greater openness for understanding all kinds of people. And you can see that. Openly, you can see that. But what they're actually coming up against in this spiritual awakening, which I think is what's happening, well, which I know is what's happening, because when I was doing my pre-shuffle, these were the cards that came out: Soul Awakening and Prophetic Revelations in Dreams and Lover of the Arts, number 17. Number 17 is, in normal tarot, the Star card, the true north, what they're meant to do in this lifetime. Generation Z is the rebels. Pluto and Aquarius, the revolution. So what they're coming up against is people from the baby boomers, which is 1940 to 1959. So that age group, their consumption is best represented in a World War II context as an expression of ideology. So probably either their parents or most likely their grandparents. That's that generation. The ideologies of people in those generations that are causing a spiritual earthquake with these Gen Zs. We've got the Gen Xs, which is 1960 to 1979. Now they consume status. So if you're a Gen Zer and you're battling a parent, most likely, and it's causing a bit of a family earthquake, spiritual earthquake, it's because that generation consumed status. That was their primary focus. So whatever you're doing, potentially, or if you are the Gen Xer, whatever your Gen Z is doing, or whatever the collective of Gen Z is doing, is actually challenging your status, how you see yourself. If we go to the next group, the millennials, 1980 to 1994, these people consumed experiences. So it is just really interesting if we look at this divide that's happening between, in that song, the champ and the challenger. And I also heard puppet master. Who's controlling it all? This big divide that's happening. You have to go in and look at, I think it's important to look at what the focus of these particular generations is and how it affects. And I will say this, I've got a child, not a child, an adult child, still a child. Now I am Generation X. Our focus, what we grew up focusing on, was status. I'm Catholic. 4 years ago, my child converted to Islam. We had a spiritual earthquake in our family. And I imagine in America, there are many young people going up against the beliefs of older people, causing these spiritual earthquakes in terms of having a remembrance for things that have happened in the past, but also recognizing that what's happening in current day is not okay. For anybody in that scenario whose parents are Gen Xers, that child doing that would be thinking, well, how does it affect who am I as a person, my status? I know for myself in that moment when my child changed religions, one of the things that I thought about, and it's not what I think about now at all, in fact, I'm extremely proud of them, but one of the things that I thought about, and I now know, it's because I am part of that Generation X, what will people think? This huge spiritual awakening that's going on. And if it's something that you are experiencing as a parent or a grandparent, or something that you are experiencing as somebody who's part of that Generation Z population, or even if you're older and you're challenging, have a think about what the focus of each of those generations was, and it will maybe give you a better context as to what you are battling with that person. I'm hearing the great divide. Because now, for me, 4 years later, in fact, I would say that battle that I had in regards to my thoughts on Islam actually started because I was 7 months pregnant when the Twin Towers fell. I remember standing in front of the TV, tears streaming down my face, watching those towers fall and thinking, what world am I bringing my child into? Now, and we were talking about this yesterday, now I couldn't be prouder of the person that they've become. But we had to have that spiritual earthquake in order to come back together, and we are so strong. This beautiful, big spiritual awakening that feels like a death is actually a rebirth. As I said, number 17 is the star card in the tarot, pointing you back. The star card is the North Star. This is our destiny to go through this particular soul awakening. Okay, I'm going to pop these cards back in, and then we are going to pull some tarot. Hangman. That's That's an Epiphany. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. I'm going to get the cards out first, because I want to see what story, even though I've already got... The cards just back up for me. I almost don't need the cards. They back up what I am pulling through energy-wise. That's the Tower. Holy moly. That's God. One more. This one's upside down. The Knight of Cups. Okay, and on the bottom we have the Page of Pentacles. This is actually really beautiful. I'm going to pop that there first. Okay, so the Hangman is Neptune energy. Things that are... Neptune for me is the bottom of the ocean. If I think about those ants in my dream, following the crowd, feeling overwhelmed and insignificant in a larger group, feeling stuck, knowing that you want to change. I can imagine, I mean, as I said, you know, the journey that I have been on in the last couple of years with my own child in terms of a change of religion, I have ultimate empathy for anybody who is changing religions in the current context of the political climate, who is going up against older generations that have an ideology of how things are meant to be. I mean, I think of, you know, even the baby boomers. I know my parents, children were seen and not heard. So the fact that there's all these people all around the world saying stuff goes against everything that we were taught. You just followed like an ant. You did what everybody else did. You didn't say anything. You didn't challenge anything. In that music video, the champ and the challenger, the underdog, that little pink teddy bear, this Generation Z, that's what it was, this little pink teddy bear, underestimated because people thought, or people think, older generations think, one, that they're not supposed to say anything, they're meant to be seen and not heard, and two, because oftentimes the older generation doesn't have a real grasp on how digitally savvy Generation Z is, even the millennials. There's a lack of comprehension, I think, in terms of how much information that they can get. I mean, I remember as a child, we used to sit down every night and watch the news. Our parents, that's how you got information about the outside world. Even, as I said, you know, when September 11 happened, I was talking to my child about this last night. When that happened, that was the only information that was coming through. And so all of my information, I'd never met a Muslim person in my life. Didn't have anything against anybody. But what came through from 9/11, this picture that was painted from 9/11 about a population of people, all came through media that I had no control over. The Generation Zs today are not watching mainstream media. They can't be manipulated by mainstream media. And I actually watched yesterday, I think it was the American Secretary of State talking to somebody about how they couldn't understand, how they couldn't control the dialogue or the narrative of the students on the campuses. Well, it's because those students, Generation Z, are digital first. They don't get their information. They go to the source. They've got a search for truth in personal and communal form. So the older generation can't control the narratives, and it's causing a spiritual earthquake. We've got the Hangman here, the Epiphany. So that is the information that's coming through to the younger generations through a digital context. And then sometimes the Hangman is feeling stuck. And like I said, Anthony Blinken, he couldn't understand what was going on. He couldn't understand how it had run away. He was almost stuck as to what had actually happened. If you look at this, Nine of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles, in this particular deck, her father, same guy, this is her, Page of Pentacles is innocent. This is her as she grows, Knight of Pentacles. Her father, hands on the back of her shoulders, guiding her as she grows. And it's what parents do. You are brought up in a family that has a particular set of beliefs, a particular set of ideologies, a particular set of religious beliefs, and that is taught to children within that family. And that's not a bad thing. But at some point, this young girl, and I say it like with my daughter, this young girl decides that she wants to start learning things on her own. And these Generation Zs are coming in. And look, we've got the Tower. Underneath here, we've got the Nine of Swords. These Generation Z. So a tower is a surprise. A tower is bringing down foundations because of things that have been built. And as I said, it's not a bad thing that people have lived their family lives in a way, because, you know, a parent is taught by their parents, you know, so it's this foundational beliefs that come through. But if somebody wants to come and pull those foundations down, it does cause, and we've got the Nine of Swords there. So the Nine of Swords is up all night. I mean, that's what I'm saying before. I have incredible empathy. I mean, my child and I keep saying child, but they're an adult. You know, we have these conversations about that point in time at the age of 18 when they came and said, hey, and how incredibly difficult that must have been to go up against essentially the machine of our whole family being one religion, the machine of the dialogue that had come through me as a parent of what I thought that meant if that change was going to come across to our family. As I said, you know, those young Jewish people, specifically in America, who are going up against these generational foundations that are built on horrible, horrible things like the Holocaust. And the same applies for me, those foundations that were built on horrible things like visually witnessing, experiencing 9/11 with my child in my belly. These kids are meant to open our eyes. I'm gonna put that there. So the tower's coming down. And as I said, you know, this parent can't stand behind and dictate to this child forever. They eventually have to live their own lives. And that was my lip balm falling on the floor. Something's falling. Now, the Knight of Cups, when I drew this card, the image I had in my mind was of a bird flying into a piazza, a square. You've got all the other birds just quietly, casually around, and then this one bird flies in and that's this spiritual earthquake. That's what these young kids, and as I said, it doesn't have to be Generation Z. That's what anybody who's coming up against generational foundations, whether it be in culture, religion, anything like that has a context to what's currently playing out on the world stage. That's what happens when they come in and shake things up. Everybody scatters, and I was trying to get it on video this morning. There was a single bird out in my pool area, and there were a group of other birds trying to come in and attack it because it was different. I wish I had got it on video. And I'm just looking. I did actually say the Tower card is what I had in my mind's eye before this reading. So it's fantastic that it's actually come out. For me, it's a sign that the energy that I'm picking up on is what's coming out. That I'm aligning with the energy I'm picking up on. The Five of Cups. Now, number 5, the Hierophant is number 5 also. So the Hierophant is institutions, religions, cultural ideologies. But number 5, so the 5 of Cups, in the traditional drawing of this card, there's a man standing there looking at the 3 cups that have fallen over, but he's not aware that there's 2 cups standing up behind him. The 5 of Cups is Mars and Scorpio. Mars is the Tower, something that has ended. When you come forth, or when you have somebody come to you and tell you that they're making a change that goes against everything that generationally you believe, or culturally you believe, or religiously that you believe, it brings a tower. As I said, the Hierophant is all of those foundations, but this tower comes down. But it's Mars in Scorpio. Scorpio is death and rebirth. That point where that information comes into you, and as I said before, that a God moment that I had when my child said that they wanted to change religions. But now it's the death, but now the rebirth is that the relationship that we have spiritually, emotionally, is so much better. It's a much needed death and rebirth. And if you are in this hangman position, if you are the parent or the grandparent getting this information and thinking, oh my God, know that it's meant to bring a rebirth. Know that it's not meant to keep you stuck. For the person who's actually revealing this information, I would say go for it. 8 of Cups. Walk away from what doesn't serve you anymore. This Page of Pentacles, look, she's stuck. Her father's hands on her shoulders. 8 of Cups is walking away from what no longer serves you. Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is your karmic lessons. It's something that you're meant to do in this lifetime. If you're being guided intuitively to make a change because of some truth that you believe in, I want to say, a truth that you believe in, even though it's not the truth of somebody else, make the decision to walk away, to free yourself from other people's beliefs, because you're not meant to live that way. Those wanted to come out, but I'm going to shuffle them back in. Yeah, 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands is making plans. So 2 of Wands is making plans. 3 of Wands is actually taking the step. Look at this bird, a bird in flight. Three of Wands is the Sun in Aries. Something that has illuminated you to make a change from the things that bind you. Wow, the things that bind you. That's the 8 of Swords. Now, I don't know whether I said it before. 8 is 2024. And we've got 8 here, 8. Actually, on my phone all this morning, and I keep deleting text messages, but I keep ending up with more. And it's always, at the moment, it's sitting on 88. I've got 88 unread text messages, 8. And it's meant to, because that was meant to come up. There's a synchronicity in 8. This year is the 888 portal. 8 is a karmic cycle ending, so abundance can come forward. 8 of Swords is Jupiter in Gemini. I just said, so an abundance can come forward. If you have a look at the imagery on that card, you can see that the ribbon is tying the swords, but there's no knot or anything in it. And there's one sword left out. That is a sword of truth. Using that sword of truth to unbind yourself from limiting beliefs, outdated beliefs of the people around you. You don't want to be stuck like that forever. Using those sword, or that single sword, to cut yourself free so that you can have this new beginning in a truth that is more aligned to you. Yeah, look at that. New beginning. Now, that's perfect that that came out. The Fool card is Uranus. Uranus is the symbol of earthquakes. The first thing that came to me for this reading was a spiritual earthquake. It does also mean physical earthquakes, which we are seeing around the world at the moment. But a spiritual earthquake, the Fool card. And we've got the Lovers on the bottom. The Lovers is Gemini, a choice. Gemini card used to be called a choice card. A choice to stay bound where you are. Four of Swords. We did have the Four of Swords under there as well. The Four of Swords. The Four of Swords to me sometimes is a spiritual timeout or a period of reflection. Maybe this process has already started, where you are coming forward and speaking a truth, or maybe you've had somebody come towards you and speak a truth, and it's caused the Three of Swords, which comes before the Four. The Three of Swords is heartbreak. It's caused some sort of fight, some sort of heartbreak. The Four of Swords is a spiritual timeout. It's where people go quietly to reflect on what's happening. If I think about me in that moment where my child came to me, I would get in my car. When I couldn't handle what was happening, I would get in my car and just drive and just cry. And I am a spiritual person. I would ask, how can I support my child if I don't understand? And as I said, you know, it was a moment of a spiritual timeout, a moment for me to say, okay, even if I don't understand, I still want to be supportive, because what I actually want is to be in this person's life. Yeah, Six of Wands. That is victory after a long battle. Six of Wands is Jupiter and Leo. And as I said to you, you know, and our battle wasn't that great. As in, wasn't that extreme. But as I said, where we are now is beautiful. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. And I would say I'm so proud. I'm so proud that that decision was made. Proud of who my child has become. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. We're getting doubles in the cards. Number 3, which is the Three of Wands. Sun in Aries. The Four of Cups on the bottom. Can you hear those birds? What I'm getting from that is, and I saw on, I think it was Instagram the other day, it was a video of kindergarten that had been built within an old people's home. It was these 2 generations of people that literally had nothing in common, aside from the fact that they probably both ate pureed food. And I mean that with love. But what would actually happen is every day, any of the people that lived in the retirement village, in the old people's home, could come down to the kindergarten and do art and craft with the little kids. And the kids, they called them their grand friends. Not grandparents, grand friends, which I just thought was adorable. But these kids had a great time, and these old people had an amazing time as well. It made them feel alive, yet they had nothing in common. And I think about these, you know, baby boomers, Gen Xers, feeling like this younger generation of people is so far removed from how they think, from how they feel, from their ideology, when if they actually looked deeper and actually get into the crux of why these people are making these radical changes, why we are seeing this big revolution, they will actually see, and if they don't take it, they'll be turning away. The Four of Cups is turning away a gift. And it's actually a gift from God. It's turning away a gift. If they choose to alienate people because of a change in religion, a change in a faith ideology, I want to say, they're turning away a gift. And we've got the Two of Wands underneath. As I said, Two of Wands is a plan. Plans that are made. The Two of Wands is Mars in Aries. Now, Mars is currently transiting Aries. It's a very, very volatile energy because they are both. Aries is Mars. So we've got Mars and Mars. You know, and we're seeing that. We're seeing that because people are coming forward with the king, with their truth. They're speaking their truth, and it's causing this volatility. But if we just look at it as, you know, I'm going to keep my hands on your shoulders and you will do what I say, and I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. I'm not going to listen to what you're saying by the Four of Cups. I'm not going to listen. No, thank you. I don't want to listen to what you're saying. They're going to miss an opportunity for this soul awakening because these kids' souls have already awoken. But it's time to wake up those people that are still stuck in this mindset. It's a new beginning for everybody. You either get on board or you don't. Right, let's have a look at the Divine Messages Tarot. See, I'm really enjoying this reading. Oh, he wants to come out, that's why. Healing and transformation, that's why. It's a time to heal and transform. It's a new beginning. Boundaries. That's people with, no, I'm not listening to you. This is how we did it. You know, all Muslims are terrorists. I'm Jewish, so I have to align with what's happening in Israel. Past life. There's something about tomorrow my past life deck arrives. So I'll be doing some past life, my North Node and South Node readings. I'll be doing some of those. Past life is where your South Node is in your chart. Your South Node is who you are letting go of in this lifetime. The things that you are comfortable with, the things that are in your comfort zone. Currently, the South Node is in Libra. It's been there since midway through last year, so midway through 2023. It'll be there until January 2025, so 18 months roughly it's in there. Now, the South Node is what we are letting go of. Libra is relationships, the foundations of those relationships. Libra is also justice. Now, when I said, you know, Gen Z is the truth, the people that are searching for the truth. Letting go of relationships where your truth doesn't align with their truth anymore. What the North Node is where we are heading as a collective. The North Node is in Aries. Aries is fiery. Aries is the tower. These things were all meant to happen. So collectively, we could have a soul awakening. Bit of a shake-up as to outdated beliefs. Finding the truth under what's on the top. And it has something to do with our past lives. I actually truly believe that this whole collective of people was a collective of people that was present in past Pluto and Aquarius transits. That each transit, we all come back to grow and evolve, to heal and transform. to walk away from the things that don't serve us. Or that we don't align with anymore. Fall from grace. As I said before, and it's probably a touchy subject, I'm sure that there are many people in the Jewish community that are currently reflecting on the Holocaust, focused on what's happening in Israel, but from what I'm seeing, not necessarily aligning with the political powers that are in Israel at the moment. And it's a very, very complex set of generational ideologies and beliefs. And I do think that there are people in power that are capitalizing on the sympathies of people. Expansion. People are getting, expansion is truth. Completion. This is part of a collective journey that we are all on at this particular time. Wish fulfillment. Yeah, collective journey. Mountain, the view from the top. It has been a battle. And you think, you know, this particular, even if you just look at the last 100 years, going from, you know, World War I and World War II, through to everything that's happened in the Middle East in the last 100 years after World War II. It's almost, we're at the climax now. You know, this Tower card. Rest, work, life balance. If you're asking a question, the answer is no. And you're already doing it. As I said, we are all on this healing journey to ascension, soul awakening. Okay, let's have a look at what angels are guiding us as a collective. Number 5. Now again, number 5 is Taurus. We're currently in the month of May, which is the 5th month. Harmony and occult wisdom. We're being guided. As I said, May is also the month of Mary. I did get that. I think it was Sanctum de Immaculata, which is the Immaculate Conception, which is Gabriel delivering information to Mary, a divine messenger, Gabriel the divine messenger. Cartel, number 8, delivers divine blessings against evil. Number 8 is, again, this year, 2024. So we've got change coming in the year of 8. 71, Hayel, divine warrior and protection. Okay, we've got 2 archangels coming out. Haniel, joy, divine communication. I just said that. Death and fetching souls, Samuel. That's Judgment Day. Fall from grace. That's Judgment Day. The recent solar and lunar eclipses, I think, activated a lot of communication, some divine communication. The solar eclipses was the 8th of April. The lunar eclipse was the 25th of March. In the Catholic Church, the 25th of March was the day that we celebrate the Annunciation of Mary, which is when Angel Gabriel came and told her that in a divine message that she was going to be the mother, she was going to have a child and be the mother of Jesus. Now that date, because of Easter, was moved back. So whilst the lunar eclipse fell on the traditional date that we celebrate the Annunciation of Mary, it was moved to the 8th of April, which was the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is information coming to light. people coming forward and saying, you know what, I don't align with these generational beliefs anymore. Number 13. Now 13 is the death card. 13 is death and rebirth, which is Scorpio. Yezalel, friendships. Moving away from friendships, forming new friendships, new alliances with people that you may not have. And I did read that Generation Z does not see a difference between an online friend and a physical friend, which is why, and I'm hearing that song, like the Holy Grail, which is why they literally form. Now that's a Hunters and Collectors song, an Australian song. Which is why they effectively now form the biggest army the world has ever seen, which is a line in that song. Because they live in the digital world. They are a massive group of people causing this massive spiritual earthquake, shaking people up and saying, hey, we need to break away from these generational foundations that are keeping us stuck. 65, Damabia, great fortune and spiritual protection. They're meant to do it. 5-5. 5-5 is change. Mebahia, good deeds and soul growth. And 64, Mahale, animals. I'm going to do one more. 16, Hakmia, loyalty. And on the bottom, we have Asalia, divine contemplation, number 47. Okay. I'm not going to use those because they're love messages. I'm going to use my Scrabble tiles. Could be the initial of yourself, somebody that you're dealing with, an organization, a religion, anything. Take it as it resonates. I'll call out the letters and the numbers. We've got a Y and a 4. I just thought of Yahweh. An E and a 1. An L and a 1. Now that is, L is Hebrew for God. G and a 2, that's God as well. M and a 3, an A and a 1, a C and a 3, a V and a 4, a D and a 2, a H and a 4, an X and an 8, and a W and a 4. So that's what I've got for you today. If you are interested in any of those Pluto and Aquarius transit readings, I do have a playlist that can give you some more insight into this particular transit that we are in, and obviously the depths of what is going on. So if you're thinking, oh my God, it's just me and my family, just know that it's actually not. It's a collective revolution that's happening, that's causing this spiritual earthquake, and it's meant to happen for our soul's growth and our soul's ascension. If you haven't already, please give this video a like if it resonated with you. If you're not already, please subscribe. If you want to be notified of future readings, please hit the notification bell. If you are interested in any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. I will list those songs in the description box and the respective music videos. There may be more messages in the lyrics or the music videos. And hopefully I will see you again in another reading.